Today I wanted to go over this thermal label printer that's made by Brother. This is model number PTE500. There's two different ways you can pick this thing up. So you can get it in this nice carrying case like you see here, or you can pick it up where it's just got the unit itself. I kind of like the cases. This is a real nice durable case. I'm able to store it away and I don't have to worry about damaging my printer or getting dropped off a shelf or whatnot. So that's why I opted to go that route. Let's get this thing out of the case here. I'll show you what we got. With it comes your standard charge cord. It does have a rechargeable battery. You've got a USB cable if you want to hook this to the computer. Then you've got all your manuals, and it's also got a wrist strap that you can put on the bottom of this should you decide you want to. It comes with a thermal tape. There's a ton of different options out there that you can pick up that's on the market. When you're picking up your different tapes, my biggest suggestion based on experience is to go with the Brother. There are a ton of knockoffs out there where you can save some money, and to me, they just don't have the quality there that the Brother tapes have. What I mean by that, I can see the quality issues in the tape themselves when it prints them out of the label printer. It's just not quite as good as the Brother. The biggest thing that was an annoyance to me was after a little while, or even pretty quickly, depending on what material or surface I'm putting these tapes on, the corners starts peeling up from the edges rather quickly, actually. With the Brothers, I don't have that problem. So take that for what it's worth. Now, when it comes to the label printers here, this thing has a ton of functionality that I'll never even come close to using this thing to its full potential. I picked this up because I am in quite a few networking situations off and on where I need to be able to have the functionality to be able to put cable wraps on different Ethernet cables. So if you're looking for just something to label, like my drawers back here behind me, you could probably pick up a little bit cheaper model for spending the money that you spent on this one here. But if you like the idea of functionality where you could print across the label, you could orientate the letters 90 degrees and have the label pointing up and down, as well as cable wraps like I said a second ago. Cable flags, you can do patch panels, punch blocks, face plates, you name it. This thing does it all. So that's a really kind of a long way of just saying this thing's pretty fancy and it does quite a bit of stuff that a lot of us probably wouldn't even use it for. When you open up the back of this thing, that's where your cartridge here is stored. You can swap that in and out pretty easily. Just make sure you get your tape back in between the little divider bar that you got here as well. That pops right in. This is your rechargeable battery. Now what's nice about this is this battery does pop out. If it's dead, you can swap it out for 6 AA batteries and this thing will still run, or you can plug it into a wall. Now the one gripe about this battery is I don't use this every single day. It might sit for a month here and there, and I've charged this battery up. Now this is a couple years old. I've had this for about 3 years, I think now. This battery has a little bit of age to it, but not a ton of use, to be honest. I don't like that when I pick this thing up after a month, this battery's more than likely going to be dead, so I got to plug it back in. Nonetheless, I keep that in there. I've got a set of batteries with me if I need to swap them over. I've got the 3 different options available to me at all times. Now, as far as the case on this thing goes, it does have a slightly rubberized backing. It does have the ability to take a little bit of a fall. I wouldn't suggest dropping it from, off the top of a ladder. That's probably not going to be best case scenario. Let me get this thing turned on for you. And when you can see here, you got a nice backlit screen. You can basically flow through all these options here and create all your different lengths, your layouts, cable diameter, you name it. This can pretty much just put about any variable in here you need to, and then scroll down through the features to be able to get where you need to go. Now 9 times out of 10 I'm using the general setting just to print a simple label. Back here with organizational type stuff where you just print a label, you can put in your tape you want to do, you can select the height that you want your letters to print at. This thing does have the ability to go quite a bit small on the lettering and then fill out the label as well. So whether you go small or large, quality on the numbers, as long as you're using the Brother brand tape, does a really good job. So this does have a little bit of memory built into it as well, so you can save some of those labels that you do quite a bit instead of having to recreate those from time to time, just to save yourself a little bit of time in the field. So it doesn't just do the TZE style tape, this does do the HZE as well as the HSE. I think there's 4 different style tapes you could throw through this thing, and the heat shrink's something I've never done. I think that's a really neat feature. It's something I'm wanting to try down the road when I get back in to clean up my networking cabinet again. So I want to kind of keep this video as short as possible, so I'm not going to go crazy in detail on this thing. It's one of those you can just kind of dive in, get to using it, figuring it out. I really haven't used a simpler label maker, to be honest, when it comes to these more sophisticated units. I've had a couple different brands over the years, Dymo being one of them, where I felt like they were a little bit more complicated to use back then. This one's got a really nice user interface to it. Pretty easy to just kind of get in there pushing buttons and start figuring this thing out right from day one. Like, one of the other coolest things is when you do type in something and get it all printed out, this doesn't have the little click style attachment at the top where you cut your label when you're done. If you're in the market looking for a new thermal label printer and you want one with all the bells and whistles, I can't think of a better one that's going to get you down the road than this one. If you think this is probably just a little bit too much for you, in all honesty, they got some cheaper units out there. Just look at the Brother line, see what you think. They've kind of got something for everybody out there. That's all I've got for you today, guys. Appreciate you watching this little video. You guys have a good one, and I'll catch you on the next one.